G'day, guys. Welcome to... I was going to say the wrong name. Welcome to One Foot in the Grave. I'm Dan.
I'm Jake. And
today...
Just to point out, we labeled the last episode 5, but I think this is episode 5, right?
Fuck. I don't know.
I think we put the wrong number on it. This will be 5. 5.2.
This is 6 now.
This is episode 6 now.
Because what I've learned is you've always got to keep one step ahead.
That's right. And people go, there'll be one super fan out there who goes completely bananas because they think they're missing an episode.
Yeah.
That will be my mom.
that will be you when you forget.
Yeah, I'll be like, fuck, didn't we do another episode? Because I've already come across this thing where I was like, shit, did I already talk about this? I had to go back through the
No, we've got
3 episodes.
Legit had 0 episodes.
How did I not know? I was like, fuck, I think I might have talked about this. Maybe I did on our last podcast, but I don't think so. We used to have a different podcast. This is bring people up to speed because we're going to have new listeners on each one because this is a growth industry. This is like the cutting edge. This is like when YouTube first came out. Now it's podcasts. And granted, they've been out for 2 decades, but whatever.
Well, yeah, I never used to listen to podcasts, but now it's pretty much all I listen to in the car. So hopefully the audio quality will be a little bit better in this episode as well, because we've changed from that fucking thing to a new one called Cat. I've decided kind of that one of us will talk about a true crime story and one of us will talk about some sort of ghosty issue. However, both of us have prepared true crime things for this episode.
Well, and I have been now ghosty issues. I do have a couple books that I've been reading, Blue Nose Ghosts and what's the other one? Ghosts and Demons of New Brunswick or something like that.
It doesn't matter.
They're not good.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say that. They're good. They're okay. You get what you pay for. I paid 25 cents for each book.
You were saying that was like a foreshadowing. Basically,
yeah,
they call
Forerunners.
it something different.
The Forerunners. Yeah,
Forerunners. Yeah.
I learned about that from those books, and I never heard of that before. So there you go.
Well,
we're
that's
learning
because
as we grow.
Well, that's because they don't exist. So,
true.
Can you?
But
really
it was weird
learn
that they both use the same terminology for the same thing.
Yeah, because we were just we did a little trial run with this new cast software, and we were discussing how it's a fact that Bigfoot can fly.
Yep.
And just as it's a fact that
he doesn't. He floats. He more floats. Levitates.
Yeah.
Using electromagnetic pulses. I just want to do a shout out because I've been doing some Sasquatch research, and I found the funniest goddamn page. It takes itself seriously. It's not meant to be funny, and I don't mean to shame these people. I'm sure
shame.
Sasquatchpeople.com. I mean, they are writing a compendium of factual information about the Sasquatch. The Sasquatch people and their interdimensional connection is the most recent work. The Psychic Sasquatch and their UFO connection was also recently written. The foreword, of course, being by Dick Robinson. Sounds like one of those names, like IP Nightly, but it's not. It just doesn't quite. Yeah. The Case of the Missing Genitals by Dick Robbed. I don't know. They're fucking stupid. But that's kind of, man.
The Case of the Missing Testicles. Fuck.
By Claude Balls. Anyway.
So
this, I'm not learning anything about the Sasquatch, but I am learning that doing Sasquatch research is pretty fun. you find some really funny.
Yeah, I think you lose brain cells by doing it.
Well, and just that they're so organized. They're having drum retreats. They're selling spirit drums. And I don't know, is this cultural appropriation? They have like Indian, is it Indian? Aboriginal? Native American.
You're on your own here. Yeah.
I'm just digging myself into a hole. But there's a dude with braids and a straw cowboy hat. So I'm going to guess.
Jamaican.
Do you want a drum man? That's a
Sasquatches love drums.
Yeah, Sasquatch is like they like spirit drums. Anyway, my God, and the YouTube video, I was watching it. I just want to play my favorite clip from it.
Okay. So
they're trying to get lined up.
The important thing is that these beings are
they're having issues with the screen not being lined up, and the interviewer can't see them. So
the screen.
And
he's doing a Skype interview, and he's going to get interrupted here any second.
How are you? Fine, thank you for having us.
Oh, shit, we might have to edit some of this out, but it's so fucking funny.
Great.
A lot of fucking shit is going to need to be edited out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that they said...
Oh my gosh.
That they took their
These
DNA
are the Sasquatch advocates.
to bioengineer us, that's the words they use, have human faces.
He's about to be interrupted because his monitor is sliding sideways.
Like just before we continue, could you just sort of move the screen over a little bit? I know you're not too sure if you can see it. If you move to other way, other way. Great, keep going. Great, that's a bit more. A bit more. Just a little, or just move your seats because you're just slightly off the screen.
Our cord is stuck.
Okay, so these are the...
That is the foremost Bigfoot
the foremost expert. This is the foremost Bigfoot expert. Knows all the biometrics of the Sasquatch, of course, including the telepathic abilities and the levitation issues and the UFO connections and the Sasquatch's DNA. Can't figure out Skype. Too complex. Cord was stuck, as it turns out. Anyway.
Oh, bless.
So, God damn it. I'm sorry I had to play that clip, and I got so fucked up trying to play it. But, I was laughing, and I thought I was sharing it with you, but you'd already hung up. So I was laughing here like a lunatic, playing my phone into the microphone, and then I realized, I'm just doing this for myself. He's not even here.
Well, that goes with the theme of Sasquatch hunting.
Sasquatch hunting. It's a one-man sport, really. They're a couple. These two crazy people. Anyway, sorry, they're not crazy. I'm sure they're lovely. Might be eccentric. Is that the word?
Yeah, odd.
Eclectic. Odd. Autistic, maybe. Anyway,
autistic.
They're Sasquatch hunters, and God bless them. Where would the world be without Sasquatch hunters? So yeah, I wanted to talk about the monster of the Miramichi, and that's not a cryptid, that's a guy. And
I've just found something out that is going to blow my mind.
What's that?
Okay, you talk about your cryptid corner. I think I can record this directly on Audacity, so I got a little bit excited.
It'd be so good. It'd be so good if we didn't have to combine them at the end. And apologies again. Oh, I should do a little corrections corner. I said a couple things that were wrong in the last few podcasts. One was that Eugene Levy and John Candy were on CCTV. I'm sure they were captured, but it was SCTV, and I fucked that up. And then, and then what was the other thing? Oh, I said, Alan Legier was an axe murderer. I was wrong. That was somebody else. He didn't use an axe.
Unlucky. No, we can't do this directly into.
Into that's too bad. So too bad. Hopefully it's easy to combine. If
I'm sure
we can keep hunting.
I'm sure it will be.
As our friends hunt for the Sasquatch, so too shall we hunt for easy to use software. You would think.
You should
also
make it.
A myth.
You've got a
also
software
a cryptid,
company, don't you?
Yeah, I actually do.
Yeah,
I do make software.
Yeah,
I could do that.
Easy to use software. The hunt continues.
The hunt continues. Easy to use software and the UFO connection.
So I'm going to talk about a serial killer today from Australia.
Okay.
I know that you've got one as well. So let's flip a virtual coin and see who goes first.
Okay, heads.
Okay, go.
Okay. All right, so this is the story of Alan Legier. We're not just going to do local crime, but it's funny because I find it's almost like the YouTube spiral, how one thing leads to another. We talk about one guy, so last week you talked about Noel Winters. And of course it makes you think of the other murderers that have been in your neck of the woods, right? So
no, I don't think I was alive for Alan Legier, though.
Alan, oh yes, you were alive. Yeah, you were a kid. We were going to provincial basketball tournaments in the Miramichi right after the murders.
What year did all his stuff take place?
Finished in 1989.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well, shout out.
Yeah. So I was just, we keep saying, well, this stuff is so rare for like New Brunswick because it's such a quiet town or quiet province. It's a tiny province, and it has had more than its fair share of mass murderers, serial killers, and high-profile celebrity murders. It's wild.
I think that's where my brain was wrong about how to name. These people may not be serial killers in that lump of criminals, but mass murderers, I think, is the one that I'm thinking of. But does a mass murderer have to be all at the same time? Or
well,
just
that's a good question. That's a good question. Does it have to be the Dylan Klebold? I mean, we're not going to do Columbine and stuff like that. It's just too fucked up and traumatic, and you don't want to give celebrity to those jerk-offs.
Yeah.
But
Homie, don't play that. This is for psychopaths only.
This is these are the good old-fashioned feel good in the cockles of your heart kind of murders.
Yeah.
These are the ones that
go
make
home.
You go. You can drive home. You can drive home smiling, just happy that you didn't get murdered.
Yeah,
it's unlikely. It's unlikely.
The girls on My Favorite Murder, they've got "Stay Sexy, Don't Get Murdered." So SSDGM. Maybe we need to stay masculine or something like that.
We could just be SSDM. Same shit, different murder.
Yes! Same shit, different murder.
I've been reading some really fucking weird ones. I'm so excited about this podcast because I like finding the weirdest fucking stories. And I know. But anyway.
Yeah, I go on a Google spiral because I wanted to do an Australian serial killer for mine, so there are a lot more than I thought there would be.
Now you had Australia did have one fucking wild mass murder, one crazy son of a bitch.
I know that's a really long story though, and I've got to do a lot more research than just Wikipedia.
It's almost because it's not a high school and it's not kids. He just went randomly targeting people. I think he could do that one. And it wouldn't be in.
Oh, I'm 100% going to. Yeah. No, I'm doing that one.
He's still
because
alive.
It led to a lot of good shit. He's in jail, fat as fuck. Fuck you, guy.
Yeah, no, fuck you, because I actually like my semi-automatic rifle, you prick. I don't want to lose it.
Well, you would not find. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time. Let's get to Alan Legier.
Okay, so Alan Legier, he was born in 1948. He's 70 years old currently. And Miramichi, New Brunswick is sort of this, it's a city,
where you fish.
An hour and a half north of Moncton. It's a small city, and it used to be two really small cities called Chatham and Newcastle. They were bridged by this covered bridge.
Fuck, yeah, we did go there for a lot of basketball games. Chatham, I remember.
Yeah, Chatham, at the Cunard restaurant. There was this famous commercial. It played in the old days, you only had TV, right? And on your TV, you had rabbit ears.
No, we didn't have radio.
Oh, yeah, fuck. No telephones.
Radio came way after.
No school. Just TV.
Just TV.
Yeah, no, you didn't have YouTube, I mean, and Netflix and stuff. So you watched TV, and you only had 4 or 5 channels. And because you had the rabbit ears, all your channels were locally based. And they used to have this commercial for the Cunard restaurant in Chatham. And it served Canadian and Chinese cuisine. And every time we went there for a tournament, we ate at the Cunard restaurant.
Yeah, must have.
I haven't been there since. I wonder if it's still around. Anyway, so Miramichi's we'll call it Miramichi from now on for the sake of simplicity. Small city, really outdoorsy, and it has the Miramichi River where there is an Atlantic salmon run every year. It's getting smaller and smaller because the bass are eating all the salmon par and blah, blah, blah. But it is like fisherman's paradise, New Brunswick. Like even the people who make fishing reels in England, like Hardy reels, they named their reels after places in New Brunswick on the Miramichi where you can catch salmon. So it's like a world famous, very, again, previously quiet place to live, safe. Nobody locks their doors. I don't. Do you lock your doors in Australia?
I do here.
I mean, I'm not inviting you to get murdered or anything. But,
well, you know what, though? We've got a really big motorcycle gang that lives like a block away, and most people would find that disturbing, but I find it really
soothing.
I find it soothing because I know that they don't. I've watched Sons of Anarchy, and
you
of
know
course
that they all have good hearts.
There,
except for the Clay character.
He was just bad to the bone. But no, I don't think that they shit in their own nest. So I'm hoping that is true.
Maybe a rival motorcycle gang though will come and steal your TV in the middle of the night.
Well, I don't think so. I think they might shoot up the gang. But
does Australia have the Mongols and the Hells Angels, or is it?
Yep. New Zealand has the Mongols, I think.
Nice.
They're the ones with the tattooed faces.
I think you're thinking of the rugby team.
No, that's the All Blacks.
Yeah,
I think the Mongols have got like really like super tattooed faces.
It doesn't matter. I'd have to look it up. Anyway, Alan Legier. Whatever. So this guy, he was poor. He was born poor. He grew up in Miramichi. And they had a very depressing upbringing. His mom, like when they interview the police, they say the mother had a lot of gentleman callers. I don't know if that means she was, a prostitute or what. But they grew up in this place. When he was a teenager, there's like no insulation in their house, and he could always hear his mom doing it with these guys, and that kind of drove him crazy.
Gross.
And I didn't realize there was a sexual component to the crimes, but this documentary I just watched did say that he was kind of a sexual sadomasochist as well. Anyway, so maybe, you always hear about the upbringing. He was a little guy, and he might have gotten picked on a bit, but he got really into bodybuilding when he was young, and he was always a troublemaker. And his brother was killed hit by a car on the bridge, the big bridge in Miramichi, I think. And after that, his mother used to tell him, like, I wish it had been you that was killed, and blah, blah, blah. So she wasn't really into the building self-esteem kind of thing. It was
yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Nice lady. Outstanding New Brunswick citizen. Although, in retrospect, it probably would have been better for everyone if he'd been run over by a car when he was a kid. Well, but it's hard to go back.
Hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah. If I ever happen to run over a child, I'll just hope it was going to turn out to be a serial killer.
Yeah.
That's fucking horrible.
Maybe they've used that. What is that genetic thing?
I'm sorry I ran over little Billy, but I'm pretty sure he was going to turn out to kill people.
Yeah.
In a way, I saved a lot of people's lives.
Like Minority Report.
Yeah. I had to... that text message I had to send really...
It was pretty important.
Yeah, it really saved a lot of people.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to wipe my ass tonight because my wife wouldn't have gotten toilet paper.
Yeah. Don't text and drive. Come on, guys. Fuck.
Or if you do, don't get caught. No.
Yeah. I'm often tempted because I'm like, just what's, I'm curious what is beeping on my phone and stuff. But Jesus, it's hard to drive when you're reading a text. When you go to the States and you're in Florida, you see people like just not even looking at the road. They're driving with their knees, texting with both hands. Just come on.
Don't do that.
There are kids on the sidewalk. Don't fucking run over somebody because you had to send a text message, you dick.
A text, it's just not that important.
Nothing is that important.
So Alan Legier wasn't run over by someone who was texting and driving.
Yeah, neither was his brother, because this was in the 80s. So, 1986, he'd been in trouble. He'd been sort of into the generalized badassery, breaking into people's houses. In fact, he kind of had this, like, bragging thing that he would do, where he would break into people's houses really quietly, and he would, like, sneak up into their bedroom. He'd steal stuff. Like, he made money by burglarizing houses, but he would go up while people were there and they were asleep, and he'd leave like a calling card. He'd like one time he cut off some woman's underwear so she knew he was there. One time he like cut something up and left it in the bed and stuff. So he's obviously a bit of a fucking crazy person anyway. But so in 1986, he gets these two young guys, convinces them to do a B&E with him. You know, basically they just wanted money. Yeah. And they break into this house. There's an old couple who lives there, and things just go completely off the rails. He gets into this frenzy somehow and beats the old guy to a pulp and kills him. And I guess he beat and potentially sexually assaulted the old lady. But she survived.
Oh, no.
That's not the right reaction for the right reason. I know what you're thinking of.
But come on.
Have you ever smelled an old lady? Why would you? God, that's not it. Us. That's gross. Why would you hurt an old lady?
Golly.
Well, just because he's a crazy cocksucker. I shouldn't say that too loud. So I'll just voice it on the internet where it exists forever in case he ever gets parole or one of his buddies comes after me. Anyway, so he like torments these people, kills the old man, beats the woman almost to death. She comes around, you know, and kind of remembers what happened, and he got convicted for that. So he went to prison in 1986 or 1987, and he was there for 2 years, and everyone was amazed at how, you know, he had got a life sentence, but everyone was amazed how he was turning his life around in prison, blah, blah, blah. The same old fucking story.
Oh, no.
And then he figured out he had an earring, and I don't know if he put shit on the earring or something to make sure his ear got infected, but he got an abscess in his ear that required an ear, nose, and throat specialist to see.
Of course. Yeah.
And he did this,
because it's fucking New Brunswick, so he's going to get it for free, too, cock.
Yeah. So he goes to the hospital. Now, this is the worst. He's obviously calculated this out, and I want to say he's not a genius, but it was pretty well planned, I got to say. But the one part of it was the wild card, and New Brunswick, you just fell right into it. The prison guards just fell for it. So what he did was he prepared, got this infection in his ear, went to the Dumont, which is the French hospital in Moncton, and that's like an hour and a half away. Moncton's one of our bigger cities, right? And so he, while he's there, he's got a jacket over his handcuffs, pretending he's embarrassed to be a prisoner or whatever. Gets a couple of seconds alone in the bathroom, and has keistered, which means to hide in a body cavity, the keister area.
So his other ear.
No, not the ear, not the ear.
The nose.
A antenna from a radio, or like a car, and a piece of metal that he uses. He picks his handcuffs rapidly, withdraws the telescopic antenna that can't. I mean, that's how that counts as a weapon. I have no idea. Draws it out and threatens.
I've beaten someone with an antenna though before.
Yeah, it leaves a welt. And sure, he pulled it out of his ass, and nobody wants a welt from that thing. But this is really the failing of the justice system at that time. He threatens the two prison guards who are watching the murderer with a car antenna, and gets away. They let him go because they didn't want to be hit with the antenna. I can't imagine. It says that one of them tried to spray him with mace, but he only sprayed the back of his head because he was running away. Anyway.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit sus to me.
So that's wild card number one. Number two, he runs downstairs, and there's a lady waiting down in her car for somebody else. He shoves her into the driver's seat, and he gets in the passenger seat, holds the antenna to her neck, and makes her drive him into downtown Moncton, an area where he's familiar. Was it
jagged? Was it a jagged antenna?
I don't think so. I think... Now, from her perspective, she didn't know what he was holding, right? She just felt metal on his neck, and he said, look, we got to go. I'm a murderer. I'm getting out of here. Whatever. And so she says, now when she describes him, see, this is my thing with the Alan Legier thing and New Brunswick in general. It is mostly really good people in New Brunswick, and there's no expectation for anybody to be evil like this. But the exaggeration of what they thought he was capable of and that kind of thing is mind-boggling. Because people, like even the police, were totally afraid when this all happened. So this lady said, "I've never encountered evil like this in my life." But at the same time, he was saying, "Look, you drop me, or I'll drop you off. I'm not gonna steal your car. I'm gonna drop your car off, and I won't wreck it or anything. It'll be fine, okay?" So like, at the same time, he's holding what she thinks is a knife to her neck. He's telling her he's not gonna wreck the car. So, is that the most evil you've ever come across? I think I've seen.
I don't know.
I've seen worse.
I've
probably been worse
than
than
her eyes
that.
out with it before leaving her.
Yeah, but if I was like, I really need to drive, I'm not gonna steal your car. I'm just gonna leave it somewhere, and I'm not gonna wreck it. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So he gets away, basically. Somehow makes his way back to Miramichi. Now, a couple weeks go by. Nothing happens. There's a couple petty crimes in Miramichi. No one's really sure. Some people are reporting a night stalker, like somebody walking around at night and prowling and that kind of thing. But nothing big happens. And then, I want to get the order right here. So he was free for 7 months. So there's a store there in Miramichi run by this lady, Annie Flam. And her sister-in-law and Annie live in a building attached to the store. So on May 29th, 1989, he sneaks in, ties them up to their individual beds. I believe he sexually assaults them. And these are, again, older
How old was he at the
members
time?
of the community. 37 or 38. But I see, when you're attacking old women and you have mother issues, I wonder if you're just like mentally attacking your own mother. I don't know. Anyway,
but
he beats the shit out of both of them, ties them to their beds. He strangles the sister-in-law, and she pretends to be dead. And so he stops, ties her to the bed, then goes and attacks the other one, Annie, strangles her, tortures her, sets both the beds on fire with the women in them. But one of them, the sister-in-law, is able to escape.
Yeah.
She escapes with 2nd and 3rd degree burns. So she can't really describe him, except she describes the guys having a belly chain, which is that piece that the police put around your abdomen when you're in prison.
Oh, yeah. Not like a decorative jewelry piece.
Not a belly button chain that connects to the nipples, which is how I like to wear mine. I don't know about you.
Yes.
One through the Prince Albert, one through the belly button, 2 through the nipples.
Mine goes down, yeah.
Yeah. Just tug on it just to stimulate the taint. No. No, don't have any of those things. Well, I have a taint. I don't want to start cloaca rumors. Anyway,
like a mannequin down there.
Is this story taking too long? I'm just going to skip ahead. So then October 13th, so quite a few months go by, right? May to October. He kills 2 sisters, Linda and Donna Doney, and I think he kills them basically in the same way. But then this is the last straw. So Miramichi is a Roman Catholic community. He goes to Father James Smith in November 16th, 1989. What happens is the parishioners are looking for this, their priest. He's supposed to be at a meeting. He doesn't show up. They go over and they find him dead in his house. So he had beaten him nearly to death, and then jumped on him and fractured all his ribs from the sternum, and basically smashed him, like in that scene from Driver. When he keeps stomping on the guy's head.
Gross.
Is that the right name for the movie? Anyway, Ryan Gosling. It was another weird independent film from your friends in California who don't believe in violence unless it sells movies. Sorry. Not to be snarky. Anyway, at that point, so he killed the priest. He always hated the Catholic Church because they had so much money. He this is another fucked up thing. He got on a train to Montreal. Everybody knew he was on the train. The police officers were looking for him. They found a guy. He'd shaved his beard, though, but he looked like him. They said, show us your arm, because they knew he had a tattoo of an eagle on his arm. This guy, cold as ice.
Tattoo of an arm on his arm.
Yeah, he has a tattoo of a bigger arm on his smaller arm. Figure that out. No, he's got a tattoo of an eagle on his arm. Cool as ice, rolls up the sleeve, no eagle. They go on. It was on the other arm. Fuck. So many. Anyway, for God's sake. So he gets to Montreal and then for some reason decides to go back to Miramichi. He was basically scot-free. He had jewelry from the two sisters that he killed, and he pawned it in Montreal, and he actually had quite a bit of money from that. But decides to go back again, and it's like it's like his hunting grounds almost, because he was, I think, randomly killing people there. It wasn't like, and he must have done it enjoying killing people. He wasn't just doing it to rob them because he was, torturing them and stuff. So he tried to pull off a carjacking basically, and they caught him in St. John. And when they finally stopped him, he was in Rogersville, New Brunswick, and he went peacefully. He's been in prison ever since. But anyway, so the crazy thing is, like, I remember this happening when I was a kid, but everybody believed that he was always out there watching you, and they wouldn't say his name, they wouldn't speak to the newspapers, they were totally intimidated, and it was a true reign of terror. It was like what people living under ISIS must feel like, only it was one guy who did not have any superpowers, and yet people still believed that he was always watching. He was out there looking at you. What's that?
He was always looking at you.
Yeah, he was. Everyone believed that he knew everything and saw everything. It was almost like they attributed these super evil powers to this guy, and he intimidated and tore apart this whole city. When really it's just it's one guy who knows the woods well, and so the police they tracked him one time on the train tracks, and apparently he had a gun, and he shot back at them. And they just hid, and they didn't go after him because they were like, he could see us, but we couldn't see him. And we just knew for a fact that he knew where we were, but we didn't know where he was. And I was like, well,
so in the end, how did they end up catching him?
He tried to pull off carjacking and somehow got caught in the middle of that in St. John at home.
Ah, nice. Yeah. See, we're not scared of you, guy.
Yeah, the scourge.
St. John
the scourge of the Miramichi. Anyway, it was just it was one of those crazy stories that, just because you think of New Brunswick as such a peaceful place, but to me, it is fucking Castle Rock, Maine. It is the epicenter of strange violence, and for the small population.
See, I don't think that.
Sorry.
What freaks me out about St. John is that it is a relatively safe place to live, but I know that there's a bunch of fucking weirdos.
Not our listeners, not those weirdos.
No.
Yeah, bad weirdos.
Yeah, but fucking crazy people.
Well, and
live there,
and it's not just about mental illness.
It's a lot about mental illness.
There has to be something where most mentally ill people, they either obsess about one thing or they do one, but they go down a path that is nonviolent and is maybe harmful to themselves, but not really to other people. But every once in a while, one of them goes down this path to extreme violence and the need to fulfill this. When you go downtown in St. John at lunch hour on a weekday, you see more sort of disheveled. I want to say mentally ill, but you can't really give that diagnosis on the street. I'm not a street physician, but
Jake,
you can
the
tell.
New David Blaine, Jake Blaine, street physician.
And here's your appendix.
You're crazy, and you're crazy.
You have bipolar disorder. But you see these mentally disturbed, we'll call it, people, and probably in a ratio of 3-1 versus the non-mentally disturbed people that you see sort of on the sidewalks and stuff on King Street and whatnot. Maybe I'm not being fair to the city, but Just seems like a huge proportion of people with issues. Anyway, but like I said, most of them are totally harmless and nonviolent, and just sort of give them a bit of room if they seem really agitated. But
only takes one.
And a lot of them are nice. A lot of them, like, but if still, I go down with Jack sometimes, and like they'll be yelling at him, and it freaks me out. If it always kind of
it freaks me out.
Gets all the prickles up on your back, like, oh, am I getting in a fist fight? But they're usually yelling really nice stuff. You're having a good day with your dad, or that's a handsome kid. But then in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's a handsome kid. Yeah, happy Hanukkah. Like Bruce. Bruce wished Dan a happy Hanukkah on our ghost tour. In July.
Oh, golly.
Anyway, so that's.
I think this will be a mini-sode because I've got to go pick up my daughter.
Oh, sorry, dude. I kind of took up the whole episode, and I was kind of looking forward to learning.
I don't give a shit. No, that's fine. But I'm going to do. I'll do. Well, do you want to do?
I'll do a ghost next time. Are you doing a ghost tour in?
Yeah, I've just got to find out about it because it's. I don't know when it is, where it is, or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I want to go to the one that my friend went to, that took you through like an old sanitarium or whatever and stuff.
Oh, I heard the spirits. Okay.
I gotta go. We'll catch up again next time, and follow us. Go to www.onefootinthe.gravepodcast.weebly.com. The information will be in the information section on this podcast, and you can find all the places that you can listen to us, and you can send in Facebook your comments. Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we're everywhere. Just like Alan Legier.
We're everywhere. We see you. One Foot in the Grave podcast at gmail.com. Send us an email. Nobody sent us an email. Send us a freaking email, and we'll put it on the radio.
Yeah.
Put it on the podcast
assholes.
Radio. Yeah. No, weirdos. Come on, weirdos. Send us emails.
Yeah, fucking weirdos.
We love you, weirdos.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
Okay, bye.
Bye.